Just take a moment now to get the skipping in thirds exercise under your fingers and run it slowly, both going up and down through the C major scale. When you feel comfortable with it, continue on and we'll play it together with the metronome. Okay, we'll skip in thirds up and down the C major scale twice in total. Again, to fit in with the click, please hold on to the octave C and the low C for twice as long each time you change direction. Ready? After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Believe me, that exercise is a tricky one. But with practice, it will get easier. When you've mastered it in that position, try skipping thirds using the other major scale shape. Or for a real test, try skipping thirds using the new shape we learnt in the first exercise. This way you'll have to apply the technique across all 4 strings, and this alone in itself serves as a really good warm-up exercise. So just staying with exercises, I'd now like to share with you some ideas on how to practice all of the very different elements you've learned about the major scale so far. It's clear that eventually we should be working towards using any knowledge of scales to make and play music on the bass. But by developing a practice routine that focuses on better understanding the sound and workings of any scale can only help you to realise these goals. Next, I'd like to guide you through how I like to focus my practice using the major scale. And for your information, I'm going to play this series of exercises at 100 BPM, and feel free to try them out for yourself at whatever tempo you feel most comfortable with. Okay, so here's our click, and I typically start by simply running the scale up and down using both the shapes we've looked at. Then on to running the major scale while skipping in thirds. From here, I'll move on to practice the arpeggios, starting with the major arpeggio, and then moving on to playing a major 7th arpeggio. Something I find useful is running the major 7th arpeggio up, and then playing down an ordinary major arpeggio. And going back to the scale, I'd look at changing positions on the fingerboard to get more familiar with playing the same major scale in a different area of the neck. Here I can then explore playing the scale beyond a 1-octave range. Then finally using this position to skip thirds across all the strings up and down. And after this, well, use the scale in its different positions to start really challenging your own technique and ability, and have a go at creating your very own exercises. So, that brings us to the end of working on the major scale, and during this time we've looked into key signatures, scale construction, chord and scale tones, intervals, arpeggios, and from this session you've been shown some extra exercises to test both your understanding and your technique. Please feel free to recap any of the previous sessions so you fully understand and feel confident with the content, as repetition really is the key to success. Okay, our next area of study has strong ties to the major scale, so it's essential that you have a solid knowledge base to build upon. Don't forget, remember to experiment and work on the things that you find difficult, as practice really does make perfect. I'll see you in the next session.